You know, a couple of the guys were mad at me because I wanted to name my son 420, and I don't understand. I mean, we live in the 21st century. I think it should be fine if I named my son 420. I mean, you have all these traditional names like Max and Charles, and you know, those are boring, stupid names. I mean, if I wanted to name my son 420, then gosh darn it, I should be allowed to name my son 420. If I wanted to name my daughter 69, then I might as well name my daughter 69. If I wanted to name my son Meme, yeah, it'd be fantastic. I love memes. I love 69 and I love 420. These are all things we need to think about in the 21st century. We are a progressive community, okay? No more of these, traditional names. No more of that. We need to be thinking about the future. We need to seriously think about the future, okay? Like, honestly, 420 is a fantastic name for a child, and if you don't agree, then I'm sorry, then you're probably, an idiot, to be quite honest, because I think 420 is a fantastic name for a child. Just imagine, you know, your son walking to school, like, I don't know, class, and like, yay, man, it's 420! You know, high fives and shit. Like, it's, you know, if my son, if I follow through with this, you know, my son will probably be the most loved person in the whole history of humankind, you know. Fantastic. People will remember my son as 420 Jenkins, probably the most loved person alive at that time. And that's something I really want to provide for my child. And you know, say what you want. Say what you want. I don't care. You know, it doesn't really affect me. You know, I can name my son 420. You can name your son whatever, your daughter or whatever. You know, Lucy or you know, Jeff. But you know, there's just gonna be another face in the crowd. You know, no one's gonna notice them. But oh yeah, people are sure as hell gonna remember 420 Jenkins because you know, look at him, man. Just imagine my son. Imagine my son named 420. It'd be fantastic. Now, people have been telling me, 420 is this holiday in April, which I don't believe at all because that really doesn't make any sense. I've never heard of 420 in my entire life. I just think they're a good pair of numbers to name your son. I mean, it's fantastic. You know, I'm very progressive myself. You know, my dad, his name was Trollface, and you know, he was a good guy. He still is a good guy, you know. People, you know, he'd walk into his job, be like, "Hey, it's the Trollface guy," and then you know he'd do the Trollface, and you know it worked out good for him. You know, nothing was really wrong with him. He was the Trollface guy, you know, and you know, I know a guy I used to go to high school with. He named his son Trollololo, and you know, people hated him for it, but you know, I think it was a fantastic name because you know, you guys remember the Trollololo guy? He was famous, you know. Naming your son after the Trollololo guy is fantastic, and you know, I know this girl who wants to name her daughter Psy Gangnam Style, and I really don't know, like. There is no problem with that at all. You can name your child the Gangnam Style. Why not? Gangnam Style has like 1 billion views on YouTube. Maybe your daughter will have 1 billion views in real life. You know, you never know. It's pretty much possible. We live in the 21st century. It's 2013. You know, we're human beings. You know, we live in a pretty progressive community. You know, it's North America. You know, we're better than any other country in the whole entire world. You know, we have things. So yeah, this is like a big hearty fuck you to those who say that naming my son 420 is a bad idea because I honestly don't think so, okay? My son is going to be the most loved person in the whole history of humankind when I name him 420, and I'll take that to the grave with me.